the gaze of millions of people. So we're in the eyes of millions of people. We're literally living in history right now.
No, you fact. That's facts. That's facts.
So we're gonna make the best of the technology that has done what for all three of us. It has changed not only our lives, but anywhere around the world that we go to. Our social credit is at a all-time high, especially in the post Cat Williams world. Our social credit is at an all-time high because they try to scare you with social credit, but it could be a good thing. But please continue.
Yo, you know what's funny? First of all, shout out to Urban X TV.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to Urban
Um,
X. Dot Malcolm.
um,
Mama Dot. Yeah.
yeah,
Mama Dot.
yo, Dot. I would love to know if you could put it in the chat and maybe we could read it later on. Damn, I wish I would have called Dot too and had him get on here. But Dot, if you could tell us in the chat, what spiritual lesson did you learn that you didn't expect? Because you've been in this thing a long time, Dot.
Longest,
So
right.
if you can, Dot, put that in the chat and let us know, Dot. I really would appreciate that. Yo, you know what's weird? You just talking about the support and the millions of people that watch and follow and things like that. I forgot who I was talking to the other day. But you know what's weird? Like we have these channels, and my channel, you know, it's primarily a metaphysical channel, uplifting the melanated race, trying to reawaken our people. It's global, it's everybody, but
That's
you
fine.
know, I really want our people to know who they are because we're
You're not
like
trying. You're not
totally.
trying. You're not
Yeah,
trying.
yeah. I'm sorry. I got to stop using that word. You're right. But one of I would say my biggest supporter in the super chat, and I said this other day, is a white lady. When it comes to my super chat, a white lady is my biggest financial supporter because you know I'm a Virgo, so I analyze. I'm noticing shit. I'm watching. So out of all the black people that come on the chat, and I've been a shout out to everybody that support me, but it's just weird, and I don't know what message I'm supposed to get from that. But out of everybody, it's a white lady who go hard supporting me on the super chat.
And
Opposites do attract.
yeah,
Huh?
that is
Opposites do attract.
Yeah.
The law of opposites is at play. The year 2023 showed me I had more success in rooms of people who should not do business with me, who should not be interested in what I got to say, who should not be supporting me. The law of opposites works. When you are in places where everybody is talking about the same thing that you're talking about, and they know what it's a bunch of knowers and no doers. It's a difference than when you're in a different building and you are the main attraction because you stand out, because you know who you are. You standing on business. Shout out to King Harry. You're going to have a different experience. That
Right.
don't go in those rooms like Kevin Hart and them. Alleged. Don't go in those rooms like them four people that the Kings are alleged. Don't go. That's not your proper persona. So what Cat Williams was telling you is that it's not a problem. It's not about going in those rooms. It's about moving through a room full of vultures, knowing who you are, standing 10 toes on business and not being compromised. You will be rewarded because this is a marathon. This ain't a sprint. This is a marathon. So already Mamba mentality 2024, Kobe is showing us in the beginning of the game, y'all, that if you stand on business and if you stay disciplined, you will be rewarded. Don't worry about how many movies your ops and all of these other people who you know been grabbing ankles are getting. That's not the reward. That's an empty, quote unquote, that's an empty gesture in that whole world that those people set up and that program that they program is falling apart.
It's a miscalculated metric, right?
Yes.
If it does not add up to anything, if you can't walk away from it and still have your integrity intact, it's a miscalculated, merit. Like their flex is empty. It's like who
Right.
wants that?
Because
Right.
you
But
can't
the
put
illusion, right?
right.
The illusion has been created in a way in which those are the metrics by which you measure yourself in a society, because we allow someone else to define what success means. And the people who define success are the same people who created what the whole concept of the American dream is. And they also created the mechanism to promote and propagate that across the planet. we know who we talking about.
Take that. So it's all about the Benjamins, right? Was not just a song, it was a mentality. Not only was it a mentality, it was a program. Not only was it a program, it was a mantra. Not only was it a mantra, it was lifestyle. It's all about the Benjamins was a whole epoch in an era. Who was behind that? Who was the architect? He's a Scorpio, right? He's not an involved Scorpio, unfortunately. He's one of the darkest Scorpio. Me and this man that you see standing right here, we share birthdays, not signs, birthdays, literal birthdays with Scorpios who are infamous. Okay? Infamous. So we know how the dark Scorpio gets down. Right. So our dark hermit that we share a birthday with is Boozy Badass. Okay. Right. Who beat 9 bodies and a few other things when he just came home. And we know how busy Boozy gets. Shout out to Baton Rouge and the Boot. Not only do we share a birthday with Boozy, but we share a birthday with King Charles. And I ain't talking about Flannery either. I'm talking about King Charles from the UK, King Pindar, right? The biggest one of the top op.
Y'all seen though, y'all notice, y'all seen it live here. The Scorpios told me, Blue Pill was like, yo, we got to get you out more, right? And now these are the Scorpios. What Cat Williams said about Diddy, the Scorp. Cat's a Virgo. He said, you got to tell Diddy no when he wants to party. See them Scorpios, they try to get y'all out there. Blue, I got to tell you no, Blue. I gotta get on my cat.
Take that.
Blue want to take me out to party. Blue.
Oh, talk that shit, Harlan.
I gotta get on my Cat Williams shit, Blue. No, Blue. I am not partying with you.
Nah, I said I will sponsor you a ticket for you to go to a concert. You can take you and your lady. You ain't going nowhere with me. Good.
Yo, tell me that wasn't funny. This nigga Cat Williams said, when Diddy wants to party, you have to tell Diddy no.
Gotta say no.
You have to say no.
I have to say no.
Nigga said, I'm trying to keep that.
And I said no.
I'm trying to keep that virgin b-hole, yo. I'm like, yo, this dude is wild.
Okay.
Yo,
that was a stand-up. That was
a sit down. Listen,
it's a not stand-up comedy, a sit-down comedy now.
Hold
Facts.
On. Yeah, he created a new genre. And the new genre is called conversational comedy. And it's not stand-up routines, it's sit-down comedy.
That's a fact.
Understand? This is a new genre that we bore witness to. It is 20 million plus views thus far.
Oh, and before we continue, I'm sorry, Blue. Before we continue, I asked that question to Dot. I just want to say this before I end up again. Yes. He said, I asked him about the spiritual lesson that he learned that he didn't expect. He talked about the understanding the sound and vibration taught by the elders. That is a big one. That's a big one because we thinking music is just music. Is sound. Sound is everything. Music is everything.
Everything.
So yeah. Yes. Thanks for answering that right there, Dot. I appreciate that. But Blue, go ahead, my brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What was the last thing I said?
I forgot.
Oh yeah, it was a sit down. It was a sit down. You know, it wasn't a stand up comedy special. It was a 2-hour sit down.
3
hours sit down conversational comedy special. Because you can't tell me he didn't come there with pre-prepared routines. Those were skits, right? Like
he has Shannon asking those questions that he gave him.
Like Chappelle explained in The Dreamer, right? He explained set a routine up, right? It takes a minute to get into your routine, but once you're in a routine, right, you can get to punching, right? A volley of punches, and that's exactly what he did. I'm looking at it. Before you are 15 minutes in, he set the whole thing up, right? And just went. He went in as a punchaholic. Now, let's not compare Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams. Somebody did that, even as Virgos. They are totally two different comedians, and they have different rhythms that they operate in. Dave Chappelle is a super conversational comedian, right? And he plays smaller rooms, and he has conversations with you, and he reels you in, and it's almost like you don't even know where it's coming from because it's almost a conversation, right? Cat Williams has a somewhat of a different style, and we can see the comparison between both of their comedy specials.
And he's
Because
an intellectual
if you don't
conversationalist.
think what you watch was a comedy special, then you're missing the whole point of what the new comedy is going to be. The new
Right.
comedy is going to be a blend and the mesh between reality. And I guess since we started there, we can do this thing real quick where we just want to explain that this is a reiteration of a conversation that was started here many moons ago when we were speaking about the dynamic of our brother Dick Gregory, right? And Dick Gregory represented what's called double consciousness in this country, right? The comedian is the most powerful card in the deck. It's the joker in the deck. It could go anywhere, and it has the ability to challenge the king like the court jester. It can make fun of the king to his face and get away with it. Nobody else in the court can do that. So the jester has this ability, this mutatable ability to be anywhere, go anywhere, hear anything, right? It got its ear to the ground, it's overhearing things, it knows things they ain't supposed to, and it's converting it, and you almost gotta laugh because you're like, damn, you got me. You know what I'm saying? So the Joker gives the king the ability to be human because what's more human than laughing at yourself? If you can't laugh at yourself, you in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So this skill set and this technique of the comedian, not everybody exercises the ability to be gambit with their Joker card though, right? Some want to reserve it and hide their hand, right? So the dichotomy has always been Dick Gregory, Bill Cosby, right? That dichotomy you can see in football is O.J. Simpson and Jim Brown, right? It's a repetitious dichotomy, and then when you look at the comedians who have made it, they're either one or the other or hybrids, right? When Richard Pryor came in right after them, he tried the Bill Cosby lane, and he could not succeed there, right? And then he let his collar down, and he went the Gregory route, and he found a success. Eddie Murphy came in and did Gregory route, and ultimately went the Bill Cosby route to find his success, right? Chris Rock is somewhat of a hybrid. You understand? Chris Tucker, forget about it. They just...
You mean Christmas?
Hey, let me ask you this. Let's switch it up a little bit. What's your take on the whole alien in the mall in Miami thing that was going on? Is that pure buffoonery?
All
Is there
right.
any
So
credibility to that at all?
when I saw the video from the artist, there's an artist who has a video where he drew the depiction as to what happened. And his explanation as to what took place is that a portal was opened up by a group of children who were in the mall with book bags on, basically, playing around with a device. And they were, say it again.
With a device, right? A cube.
I said with a device.
Yeah.
So before I get into that device and speak about the theories about as to what's taking place, I want everybody to pay attention to who he said was in the building. Think Stranger Things, think Weird Science, think the same group of children in backpacks or teenagers in backpacks or hackers in backpacks that I just saw a video in Times Square where they were able to hack all of the screens. And what did they have? They had a book bag and a computer, and the youth are using something called a flipper. I don't know if anybody knows about the flippers, but the flippers are these handheld devices that you could basically hack electromagnetic security systems. You know what I mean? And that's what you could hack like the McDonald's signs and stuff like that, right? So I'm not saying that they're using something like a flipper and whatnot. What they may be using is VR technology or AR technology. They have a technology called Magic Leap. And what Magic Leap is what you're seeing in those billboards when it looks like a lion or something is jumping out. Now, Magic Leap, and you have Raspberry Pi. You can have these open source computers. It's my humble opinion that they're using something with quantum mixed with GPT, and they've hacked something, and they're now able to open up portals and whatnot. And the story has it that this group of young teenagers, not a group of teenagers fighting, although there were teenagers in the mall who were on their regular teenager shit, but this group of young teenagers, and I'm assuming that they're not all melanated and whatnot. They did not look like they were hood children. They went around. They had a device. They activated the device. The device basically started changing the electromagnetic field, and it opened up somewhat of a portal. And out of that portal, a hand and a leg came out of. And then there are words that they were quote unquote entities that came through this realm, and they were walking around the mall. They said that they were not walking around the mall like they were trying to chase anybody down. They were walking down the mall like they felt like they were lost in a different dimension and whatnot. Think Jonathan Majors, King the Conqueror with the multiverse. They said that they were not walking, though. They said that they were literally glitching and moving and whatnot, going through walls. They were going through windows. Right. So they were like, if they wanted to catch people and get into kill mode, they could have done that. However, that's not what it is. Yes. And I have to keep everybody in mind of not only Project Bluebeam, but the fact that we are now in 2024. This is the era of VR, AR, SR, spatial reality, augmented reality, virtual reality,
right?
The meta glasses.
XR. Right.
XR, right? Yes, mixed reality. So this is the beginning of a new cycle where you don't know what you see, because Midjourney 6 is putting out photorealistic pictures. There's no way to decipher anymore what is real from what is fake, and you could generate anything that you type in there, and now you can make it move with Runway ML. So this is the first time, but this will not be the last. This is the beginning of some type of deep you don't know what's real anymore. So welcome to that quantum. Right. We're in the quantum leap.
Facts.
We're in the quantum leap. You're gonna see people who are said to be deceased. You're gonna see entities. I'm not gonna get in no type of things like that, but the situation that took place in Japan just now, right after the trailer came out for what? Godzilla versus King Kong, right? And then the scene where Godzilla was coming up, he was coming through the ground, and it looked as if it was an earthquake. They was even saying in all of the melee that was going on in Japan, there was rumors of some type of entity inside of all of that fire and whatnot. A lot of subterranean Dumbo underworld activity is moving, right? There's a lot of things going on. Remember, they went into the war with Hamas in the tunnels, and then there's how many earthquakes on January 1st?
Too many.
So they flooded the tunnel. They flooded the tunnel with the Mediterranean Ocean and whatnot. You don't know where those tunnels go to. You don't know where those them tunnels in the Mediterranean are ancient pathways to Middle Earth, stargates, and all kind of things.
Yes.
Indeed. No. Yeah. We definitely got to keep that in mind with the way technology is moving and what we're being shown on the internet. We just don't know. And Red always keeps us up to date. Technology is moving so fast, I can't keep up with it. But I always go to Red Pill. I think he's the perfect person to follow on Instagram and YouTube. He keeps us all up to date with the technology and what exactly is happening, what we need to be tapping into, what benefits us. So make sure y'all keep in touch with Red Pill with that. We did a workshop actually last year,
yes,
Masters in the Universe. And that was an amazing workshop. A lot of people
that has to be revisited. That is monumental. We created multi-millionaires with that workshop, by the way.
That was a great workshop. A lot of people benefited from. So that's that. You know, one thing I want to say that I was thinking about, just with everything going on with the Kevin Hart, not Kevin Hart. What's his name? Cat Williams,
Cat in the Hat,
and everything that's going on in the industry. You know, and I talked to Blue about this. So I think it was Red, one of y'all. You know how much the people who came before in the conscious community was criticized for saying what they said about all this stuff for years. You know how much Dr. Valentine was criticized when he said what he said about them folks, and they said, "Oh, he's homophobic. He's this or he's that."
Right?
Like, yo, so brothers and sisters in this community, we're watching reality follow everything that they've laid out. Francis Chris Wilson and everybody act like they didn't they don't know what's going on. Like all these teachers didn't predict this. Even whether it's Dr. Sabi or whatever, like, yo, there's a community that has predicted 90% of the shit we see going on right now. Shout out to everybody who came before me and made it possible for me to do what I do real quick. Let me give a quick shout out. Dick Gregory, Amos Wilson, Dr. Amos Wilson, Bobby Hammond,
Gil Noble.
Gil Noble, Dr. Phil Valentine,
Clemson Brown.
Dr. Delbert. We talking aliens?
Yes, Hakeem Bey. We talking. Listen,
Dr. Delbert Blair.
I need to hook my sound effects up.
Elijah Muhammad with the most honorable. Elijah Muhammad.
Facts.
Dawood.
Ali.
Dawood. Right. Like, yo, these brothers and sisters.
Uriel Bay.
And they was